Okay, so what we're going to do for this round of passing thoughts is we're going to look at the topic. So many people are talking about the new normal. I like to call it the now normal, because now there are things that you're going to do that you have learned from the pandemic. And even though I say from, I don't mean that it's over. I think that we're still in it, but that's one of my personal thoughts. So we'll shuffle our cards, and you can either pick a new card, and then we're going to pick a passing thought card, and then a passing word card, because what the passing word card will tell us who's next. So let's all go down to our reaction button, because on the count of 2, we're going to click raise hand, and then the computer will put us hopefully in the same order. But even if it doesn't, the key is with the hands going up. Don't worry about me counting to 2, Aaron, because you got kids. But the key is that when the hands go up, everybody knows who hasn't gone yet. And so so once you go, then you lower your hand. Okay, on 2. 1, 2, raise hands. Okay, on my screen, I got Aaron first. Does everybody else have Aaron first on their screen? Okay, Aaron, you're up.
All right, well, great day and get excited, beautiful people. I have got to say, coming out or entering that pre-finishing COVID phase, whatever it is, where no opportunity will be wasted in this now normal, I've got to think of mercy. I've been saying coming into 2021 has been the year for grace, but mercy is just, come on, this is so important. It has to be where may everybody recognize Christ in you. Seriously. Okay, we have got to be those who practice what we preach and preach what we practice. And so all this makes me think back is to, when I actually accepted Christ, I was 12, almost 13. And then going through high school, I wasn't always with the crowd, never really cared about all of that. But I remember someone saying something just a little bit after I graduated from college in my early 20s. And she was like, well, yeah, I know Erin didn't do a lot of the stuff that we did, but she never talked about being a Christian. We've got to practice what we preach and preach what we practice. Don't let any opportunity be wasted, because some people, honestly, research shows this is the least church or Bible knowledge-based generation in recent history. So we have got to remember all of this 40.
Somebody just texted me and I'm sending her. Okay. And we have to remember, I got love, L-O-V-E. We have to remember to let ourselves value everyone. And I think that's really important right now. We see a lot of peaceful protests, whether it's Black Lives Matter, this is LGBTQ month, all of those things, all are talking about value, social injustice. We're going through that a lot. I was in the auto mechanic today with a woman, and we talked about how she's, so many things are going on. And I said, you know what? The truth is they've always been going on, but we didn't have access. Now that with technology, now on the East Coast, we know what's going on the West Coast, and we know what's going on in the Midwest. We never knew before. So it's not, I don't think that it's particularly picked up. I'm sure it has, but part of that pickup is, what they call copycat crime, where somebody sees what somebody else does someplace and then they do it their place. So I think that's why value is really important. Let ourselves value everyone, L-O-V-E. Reminding people that you are an important piece in every single puzzle. And that life is about going from one puzzle to the next. In every puzzle of your family, social, and business relationship, you are the small, medium, or large piece. Yet no matter what puzzle piece size you see yourself as, without you, that puzzle is called incomplete. Because of Cassandra?
Thank you, Sporty. Because of focus, finding ourselves creates unlimited success. Focus on you and let others come into focus. I think this new normal has definitely given us a new sense of focus where we do have to focus on ourselves and allow others to come into focus. I know for me, that was definitely the case. And after the initial early months of the pandemic, I think after the attention wasn't so much on just me, the focus did start to be on others. Let me make new connections. Let me reconnect. Let me learn something new. Let me get my reading in that I hadn't been doing. Let me do something different and let me make certain that I'm paying attention to being grateful. So that focus on being grateful gave me the opportunity to contribute to a book in November of last year, which came out in December of last year, which just for me was the icing on the cake to a year or almost a year of having a new focus. This new normal is definitely giving us that new focus. And again, we're focusing in on ourselves and we're allowing others to come into focus while we're not leaving out other people, yet we have to believe there's Roger Carroll, believe theirs.
We have to believe that there's joy. And joy is really just one you. In these times, and as we come out of or continue to transition through the pandemic, we know that many of the things that we hear, many of the things that we see, try to make us all seem as if we're the same. There is just one you, and that's worth celebrating. We have to know that there's no one else like you. There's no one else like me. When you're named Roger Carroll, you always think you're unique. So you have to believe that there's just one you. That's part of what we have to realize coming out. And as we come into what the now normal will be, we have to realize that what social media tells us is not who we are. What television tells us is not who we are. We have to celebrate ourselves. We have to go to those places of faith that we have been talking about and find who we truly are in this, and know that only as we experience our faith, only as we love ourselves, only as we're able to be all that we know we can be, will we be able to exhibit joy, to exhibit the joy that only our faith can bring, but also the joy of there just being just one of us, just one you. And so looking at that, then, Haas, what can we expect?
We can expect you to unmute. Haas, you're muted. 2020.
Fear. Faith eventually attracts resources. During this transition from the pandemic to the post-pandemic era, that's one thing we definitely have to overcome is fear. Fear will knock you down, but at the same time, you definitely have to lift yourself up as a human being to overcome that fear and move on in life. And just try to focus on what you want to do for the rest of your life, as far as terms of helping others and sharing information and just having a basic conversation. You got some people that want to shut you down for whatever reason, but at the same time, you just kind of ignore that. Say, it could be the fear of the pandemic, but at the same time, you have to overcome it and just move on. And I pass it on to Holly. Self.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, peace. I think is so relevant to this topic, placing eternity above chaos and evil. Um, when you know where you're going, you can relax and enjoy the journey. And I would say post-pandemic, and again, you can't say post because it's not over yet. We hope there
Right.
will not be a significant wave. That is in my prayer every day. But peace knowing that there's a vaccination. Peace knowing that everyone in my circle, all of my family members have decided to be vaccinated. Peace knowing that I care for my mother, who she lives with me, and I was able to protect her for the last 18 months. And the sacrifice of not having people in my home to protect her gave me a sense of peace, because I wasn't being neglected to, I wasn't being selfish and feeling like if I didn't have people in my space that I was missing out on something. And it goes to getting to know yourself. I think in moving forward, I had so much time to reflect on all the positive things that I learned in the last year and a half. I kind of reintroduced myself to myself. Like it was a reintroduction, what do you want out of life? Doing things more deliberate, learning new skills, reading some new books that you kept hearing about, some amazing authors, but didn't have the time. It gave me a peaceful sense of what's the future going to look like. And I'm very encouraged that there's been a positive focus on uplifting women and men of color finally. Diversity and inclusion. Now they've added belonging, diversity, equity, inclusion, and B, belonging. We all belong. And it's nice to see that companies are recognizing our worth and rewarding us of something that we have always deserved, but have often been overlooked. That's the peaceful place that I'm at, because I'm seeing it and it's just really positive. So I just have a positive sense of what the future is going to look like, and that there's going to be a little more equality. I'm not saying it's a perfect world, but I think people and companies are being more deliberate in celebrating us as a whole. So I would say, I believe that there's, and Shirley came on, but she doesn't know the rules. So I'm going to pass it back to Sporty.
Oh, okay.